don't know why I keep showing this, but it's saying that waiting for mobile, and I'm live right now. I don't know if somebody can. I don't know if somebody hearing me on the other side. I think we connected. I think we connected. Okay, everything good. Let's get into it, man. Okay. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah, by Hashem, Yahawashi, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of great millstone who rule well and teach through the Spirit. A mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit, teaching His word and believing His word. Lord willing that they continue to endure and be sincere in the same Spirit. Shalom to the Akwatiyam, believers of His faith and His truth. Lord willing that they continue to pursue their lot being a loving and excellent virtuous wife. Lord willing that they all continue to endure in sound doctrine and in the same spirit. And Lord willing, the most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. Now, this is inspired by what video this brother put up, Salaki, because I had other videos in mind, but I came across this video while I was getting other videos set up. This brother, where's my recent videos at? Yeah, so brother did be someone Yahawashi would be proud of. And he was getting in there. And he was, there was one point where he said, you gotta be in the spirit of Yahawashi. I'm like, dang, you basically want to imitate him. I'm like, dang. I remember Paul saying something like that. But then it brought me across to getting precepts for we need to put on the spirit of Yahawah while Yahawashi. Right? So the first verse I want to get real quick is First John chapter 6. I mean First John chapter 2, verse 6. He that saith he abideth in him ought himself also so to walk, even as he walked. Right? This is the spirit that we should be in. We should be wanting to walk like Yahawashi. Yahawashi was obedient. Yahawashi was trying to do the commands of his father. Right? Let's go to that. Then we're going to jump back to this other precept I got marked in that chapter. This is St. John chapter 12, verse 48. He that rejecteth me and receiveth not my words, have one that judgeth him. In the word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me. He gave me a commandment, what I should say and what I should speak. And I know that his commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak, therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak. Right? So Yahawashi came to speak the words of his Father that he commanded him to speak unto us, to the believers. Now the apostles is doing the same thing at that time, and now them same spirits is waking up, coming back into this knowledge. Now the men of the Lord is feeding what was commanded unto you. Now, side example, like Positar, like he made a decree for his camp, the congregation, GMS, and even affiliates, that if you're not doing 3 videos, you're getting removed from the camp. And I've been seeing multiple brothers that have been deteriorating from, from doing videos. It's either 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, a year where brothers is not doing no videos. And, you know, Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, they're really like key on we have to feed the sheep. We didn't get into this thing for entertainment. And how I look at it in the spirit, that's like Yahweh setting us up to be like his son. Because what did Yahweh say? He came to minister, but not to be ministered unto. We come in the spirit to minister. Now, a lot of us can minister unto because we were getting raised up in this thing. When we go to Luke, the 2nd chapter, Yahweh was answering, asking questions of the doctors of the law, right? So the idea on the spirit of Yahweh, Yahawashai, which is the Heavenly Father, and the Son, is deeply rooted in the scriptures. This means walking in righteousness, following after the example of Yahawashi, and aligning your life with the will of the Most High. Now, I want to get something because it's an example of Yahawashi. This is a classic, so I know everybody's going to most likely know it. Let me see if I'm going to read it in Luke, the 4th chapter. Well, yeah, I'll just read it in the 4th chapter. This is Luke chapter 4, verse 1. Yahawashi, being full of the Rakakwadash, returned from Jordan and was led by the Spirit into the wilderness, being 40 days tempted of the devil. And in those days he did eat nothing. And when they were ended, he afterward hungered. And the devil said unto him, If thou be the Son of the Most High, command this stone that it be made bread. Yahawashi answered him, saying, It is written, that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of the Most High. And the devil, taking him up into a high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the earth in the moment of time. And the devil said unto him, All this power will I give thee, and all the glory of them. For that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will give it. Right? So Yahawashi is being tempted by the devil. It says, If thou therefore wilt worship me, all shall be thine. And Yahawashi answered and said unto him, Get thee behind me, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship Yahweh Shemashai, that power, him only shalt thou serve. And he brought him into Jerusalem and set him on the pinnacle of the tabernacle and said unto him, If thou be the Son of the Most High, cast thy down from thence. For it is written, He shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against the hills. And Salaki, for this written, okay. For this written, He shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee, and in their hands they shall bear them up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. Yahawashi answering and said unto him, It is said, Thou shalt not tempt Yahweh Shemashai thy power. And when the devil had ended all the temptation, he departed from him for a season. Now, I read through all of this because the whole point, Yahawashi stood his ground, right? We're going to be tempted in this thing, right? Hold on. Wait a second. Right? We're going to be tempted in this thing. There's other precepts, but this is the first one that came to mind. Right? He did not, Yahawashi didn't fold. It's Revelations 3:10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast to which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Right? And if you losing a little interest, you stepping away from the fire that you had, guess what? You're being tempted, man. You start slacking, right? Your emotions and feelings is getting the best of you. Now, this can even go for women because how women are built it up, right? You could be attacked. Guess what? Right there and then, stop, drop, and roll. That's my new slogan. Hold on. What I was saying, my new slogan, stop, drop, and roll. Any problems that you dealing with that's getting you out of the spirit. Say if you could be watching something. Say if, you know, something. Because everybody have they moments, especially women, right? Stop, drop, and roll. We just seen in Luke the 4th chapter, Matthew the 4th chapter, verse 1 to 13, Yahushua is getting tempted of the devil. And he stood his ground. You have to stand your ground in this thing. Because to have the spirit, or we need to be in the spirit of Yahawah, Yahawashai, that means we have to follow after the example of Yahushai. Do as he do. If you abide in him, you must walk like him. Yahushai stood his ground, right? Being unmovable. Uh Let me see. I think it's the First Corinthians. Yes, this is First Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye stand fast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of Yahawah, for as much as ye know that your Father is not vain in Yahawah, right? That your labor is not vain in Yahawah, right? Be unmovable. Yahushua was unmovable. And guess what? When we go back to Revelations 3, let nobody take your crown. The left side spirit, right? Even yourself, right? Yahushua was in the flesh just like us. He overpowered it because he knew the mission ahead of himself, right? Let's get Romans. This is Romans 13:14, and it reads, it says, but put ye on the Lord Yahushai, and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof, man. Right? And it's sometimes where throughout your week, on the Shabbat, right, where a lot of us might do our own pleasure, right? Do things of the flesh, right? But you want to give yourself to the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, especially as men that's teaching. If you're a leader, it doesn't matter what position. If you got the ability of teaching, right, to have the spirit of the Lord, you're gonna be feeding the sheep like Yahweh Shai. This directly says to put on Yahweh Shai, meaning take on his character, right, his mindset and righteousness. So you got to try to get the mindset of Yahweh Shai, man. Right? You want to bear fruit. Yahweh Shai bear fruit because the elect belong to him. Right? The Lord is allowing us in this earth because he know you, like, you know what? That servant gonna overcome. But you gotta hold on to that power. You got to think upon that power, right? Let's go to this. Galatians. Oh, I keep barely. Oh. This is Galatians chapter 3 and verse 27. It says, for ye are all the children of the Most High by faith in Hamashiach Yahushai. For as many of you as have been baptized into Hamashiach have put on Hamashiach. How are you baptized? The wisdom, knowledge, understanding. So now you put on Yahweh Shai. It says there, it says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, the dispersed of the Israelites. There is neither bond or free. There is neither male or female. For ye are all one in Hamashiach Yahushai. And if ye be Hamashiachs, then are ye Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. Right? So if a Mashiach, so and as if a Mashiach, then then are ye Abraham's seed, right? So if ye be a Mashiach, then are ye Abraham's seed, right? And heirs according to the promise, right? But verse 26 says, ye are all the children of the Most High by faith. What did Abraham have? He had faith in the Lord. Hey, go here, move from this, move from your family, move from your land, and go to a land I'm gonna give you and your descendants. Hey, you know what? Sacrifice your son for me. He was ready to do it. Right? Let's get Ephesians, the 4th chapter, verse 22 to 24. It says, that ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust. The old man, right? And really, like, meditating on it. Like, some Jake can be on this and be thinking like, dang, man, that a blunt right now would be good. The more you meditating on those things, because you haven't mortified the things of the flesh. You got to put them to death. It says, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, right? Your mind should consist of Hamashiach Yahawashi, right? You should always try to cleanse yourself, just like having a vehicle. You take it to the car wash. This is the spiritual car wash, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? So be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye might put on the new heaven, which Salaki, uh, renew, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, which after the Most High is created in righteousness, in true holiness. Wherefore, putting away lying, speaking every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. Right? So you gotta renew that spirit. How do we renew the spirit? Right? Right? Afresh, going towards Yahawashi. Right? St. John 14:6, Yahawashi is the truth, the way, and the life. He is the way. He's the way to move. He is life, right? If he was the light of the world, and now we're the light that's in the world now, in order to be the light, we have to be illuminated by the understanding, a true understanding of the scriptures through the spirit and power of Hamashiach Yahawashi, right? Let's go to Romans 8:1. This is Romans 8:1. It says, there is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Mashiach Yahawashi, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit. Right? Where was we at? Yeah. There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach Yahawashi, who walk after the flesh, but after the spirit. Right? We all want to be walking of the spirit, not of the flesh, man. Right? You drop down to verse 9. It says, but ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit, if so be that the spirit of the Most High dwell in you. Now, if any man shall not the spirit of Hamashiach, he is none of us. Wait, said it again. It said, but ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so be that the spirit of the Most High dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the spirit of Hamashiach, he is none of us. We're not these children of the flesh, right? Those that have the spirit of a Mashiach, you are sons, you are children of the Lord. But if you have, but if you are of the flesh, you are none of the Lord's. It says, but if any man have not the spirit of a Mashiach, he is none of his, man. This is why the Rakak Kodash is very important, right? The Rakak Kodash is very important, man. Let's get Galatians 5:16. Galatians 5:16. Then shall they say then, this shall they say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Right? Because that spirit is going to always counter things that might be in the flesh, or things that could be unrighteous. You know, that again, this is a battle. Just like me getting out of work, and I know my body is tired, but I'm kind of fighting it all the time. This is not the only day. All the time you see me do a live between Monday and Thursday, I'm fighting my sleep. tired, but I get excited about finding a lesson that as soon as I go to sleep, hey, it's work time. I'm not gonna have enough time to do a lesson, right? I'm using that as an example, fighting the left-hand side, because the left-hand side might not want this to get out. We gotta put on the spirit of Yahawashi, right? Sometimes you gotta get angry, man, right? Yahawashi was seeing what the Pharisees was doing, but he had a spiritual anger where he didn't allow it to consume his flesh, and because Yahawashi could have sent down a whole legion, he could have destroyed all these mother suckers in the time when he was on the earth, but he didn't do that. He held his composure. He was disciplined. So we gotta have discipline. Me, you, your mama, your pappy, any, especially us of the faith, must 2:6 that we read earlier. He that saith he abideth in him, all himself also, so to walk, even as he walked. So how Yahawashi walk, we should be walking, right? Especially being a babe in this thing, you should be wanting to ask questions. And if it get turned, and it's crazy. The apostle said, what was it, apostle? It was a brother saying that, no, I think it was Apostle Tahir, where he said if certain camps or regions or area you in, brothers should be asking each other questions, right? You should be sharpening each other up. You should be going in a breakdown and, talking, because that builds up the brotherly love. It helps you get more sharp. Yo, I go to work, I'm doing work, and I get on TikTok, and it's some of the GMS brothers, the brother from Australia, and some of the affiliates, and they on there. First, the brother was doing a lesson. Then after, he started asking questions to people, and I'm over here answering like, "Hey, Gabar, hey, don't answer it because you know the breakdowns." Like, I don't know all of them, right? But for me, just through the spirit of hearing apostles say this, and then y'all brothers is asking questions, and the main reason why he did it, to sharpen brothers up. The elder was just saying this, man. So I wanted to participate because I was hearing what the elder said and I believed it. Then next minute, a brother doing a live asking questions to sharpen brothers up. He even was asking questions that everybody should be knowing, right? And I'm just excited, like, yo, the apostle was just saying this. I'm intrigued. Guess what? That's another example of spirit. And why the elements, I'm at work, I'm doing this, I'm even tired. But since at work, I'm able to function and be it, even though I'm tired, because I'm moving. I'm in my car sitting down where my body, my legs is somewhat at rest. So it's easy for the sleep feeling to hit me harder, right? But when you got that fire in you, like Yahawashi, he was hungry when he was praying for those 40 days and getting tempted. But guess what? He never broke off and went to go get food, because he even tell us that his meat is to do the will of his father, right? So when we let's just go to this one real quick. This is First Peter's chapter 2 and verse 21. For even hereunto were ye called, because Mashiach also suffered for us. Leave us an example. Again, for even hereunto were ye called, because of Mashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. Oh my goodness. Yahawashi is the example, right? What's one of the examples? He sacrificed himself. He laid himself down for his friends. Hold on, let me get that. That's another classic. Then I got to go to another classic after that. What is it? St. John 15. This is St. John 15. And I just want to go straight to the point. Verse 13. It says, greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you. Right? So a friend is going to give up his life, right, for his friends. Right? What does that make you think of? Brothers and sisters, y'all should really be thinking about it. You should be getting to that scripture before me. But it's okay. Some people are not going to remember or know. But now you get to hear it, right? So let me read that 1 Peter chapter 2 in verse 21. It says, "For even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps." 1 John 2 and 6. If you abide in him, you must walk how he walked. Romans 12 and 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, the Most High, which is your reasonable service. Right? So going back to 1 Peter 2 and 21, for even hereunto were all caused, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example, that ye should follow his steps. Yahawashi is the example, how he was moving on the earth in the flesh, right? Sometimes you want to pray to Yahweh Shem Yahawashi. You want to ask Yahweh to make me like Yahawashi, right? Let's go back to Romans, and let's read Romans 13 and 12. This is Romans chapter 13, verse 12. I read at verse 11. It says, "And that knowing the time, that now is high time to wake out of sleep, to wake out of sleep now, Salaki, but now it's high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believe. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness." Darkness is a spiritual dead estate. Darkness can even go into this world. It says, "And let us put on the armor of light." Right? The armor of light is Ephesians the 6th chapter, but that light is Yahawashi. Yahawashi is really that armor, because Yahawashi has given us the Rakah Kodash. Ephesians 1 and 14 in the Amplified Bible, the Rakah Kodash was the first installment, right? The first installment, right? Let me just go to this, because I see the brother dropped it. Ephesians 6 and 11. Ephesians 6 and 11. It says, put on the armor, put on the whole body. So like it. Ephesians 6 and 10. "Finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahweh Shema Shai, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." Right? We can't overcome nothing. We can never overcome nothing if we ain't putting that armor on. Some of y'all might just think Yahweh Shema Shai, oh, help me put the armor of the Lord on. However, some of y'all do it. This has to be serious. What is your thought after you say, help me put on the armor of the Lord? Faith. Shouldn't you be having some type of meditation of faith in your mind? Right? And the number one thing, right, is that sword. Ephesians 6 and 17, the spiritual sword, right? It said, what did it say? Let me get all of them. You got the breastplate. It says loin, um, having your loins girt about with the truth, which is your mind, which Yahawashi, if he was 12 years old, all the way to the age of him on the cross, his mind stayed on the will of the Father. Your mind, your loins should be girded with the truth, or whatever you have learned, right? And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Preparation means the act of preparing. The act of preparing. So you should be preparing each and every day, spiritually and mentally and physically. It says, above all things, take. Do I want? Okay, yeah, we'll read 16 too. Above all, it said, above all, take the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Right? So faith is key. Hebrews 11 and 6, without faith, It's impossible to please him. Don't you want to please YAHAWASHI? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Right? 17. It says, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. This is what's going to help you build up your faith, right? This word, right? This is a life or death thing. So in order to have the spirit of YAHAWASHI, you got to be willing to lay yourself down. Talking to you brothers, even you sisters, to have the spirit of YAHAWASHI, you're gonna play your role and be submissive towards your head. 1 Corinthians 11. You're gonna get back into order. You're not going to get offensive of what a man's want. You're not going to get offensive of that this world is a man's world. James Brown was speaking. You're not going to get mad because guess what? When you say you want the kingdom, you're saying kingship because that's what kingdom mean. Under Hamashiach Yahushai, then you got the 12, the 144,000, which is the government body. When you say, I want the kingdom, you saying you want kingship, right? So even when we think about Yahawashi, you want to start thinking about certain women that were raised up either under the law, women that were following being a virtuous wife. Sarai, she obeyed her husband. Susanna, right? She feared the Lord if she was to commit adultery, and she didn't do it, and knowing that the Lord was going to provide. Right? Judith, she beheaded Furnaz, right? A man that was afflicting Israel at the time and many other nations, right? But again, to put on the spirit of Yahawashi, you have to be ready. To put the spirit on Yahawashi, you have to be prepared. I don't want it just for one day, just for 1 week. I'm trying to get it as much as I can because it's evil out here, man. Even making certain decisions, giving bread to the homeless, right? Trying to manage in my past life. Yo, I wasn't good when it came to certain bills, right? Because I was smoking weed. I wanted to make sure I had my weed, and I would get my landlord, like, give him money and give him $50 less because I wasn't, minimum wage wasn't how it is. Now I'm in this truth. I'm always thinking on a bill to make sure I got bread for this and that, and make sure the wives, they got bread when I'm not paying these bills. But that helped us to move these. Guess what? It goes back to me even thinking with this. You gotta have the spirit of Yahushai to order your household. Right? Let me go to that one too. See, now I'm waking up. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. 1 Timothy 3, verse 4, it says, one that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how should he take care of the church of the Most High? First, if a man want to rule his house, you gotta have the spirit of Yahushai. Because what did Yahushai do? He put order in the house, which is the church, right? I'm trying to think. Where's that? Do I want the Timothy one? Do I want the Timothy one? Salaki. Nope, that's not the one I want. Is it Corinthian limes? Maybe it's the Ephesians. Do I want the Ephesian one? Here we go. It's Ephesians chapter 5, verse 23. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Hamashiach is the head of the church. He is the savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject to Hamashiach, so let the wives be to their own husband in everything. Each individual be subject to your husband like the church is subject to Hamashiach. Like you got different houses. Like for the church of Yahushai, you got the men, women, and children, but they come in their order. The man is first to come serve Hamashiach Yahushai. Then the woman is serving Hamashiach Yahushai through her man, and the children is serving Yahushai through the parents. But this is how we all three, when we're in order, this is how we all have faith. And guess what? When we're all connected, The spirit is on fire amongst you. What is that? What is that? Right? That goes back to being the example or reflection of YAHAWASHI. Order. What is it? This is Matthew, the 18th chapter, in verse 20. It says, "For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them." Right? And guess what? How you gonna have the name if you're not hearing the word? If you're not hearing somebody teach, right? Or if you don't believe in the name, right? Because again, you have to believe in Yahawashi. For Yahawashi to deal with you, you must believe. So guess what? If a husband, a wife, and the children, that because everybody's level of faith is not the same. A man is going to be way more fire. A woman is going to follow after a husband to the best of her ability because she is a weaker vessel. She's going to get attacked. Sometimes women allow themselves to get attacked, and then children is just children. Children have an imagination that some of us grown-ups do not have, which me and the brother Yarmaya was just speaking about at work. Right? Children have a certain imagination that some of us don't even have. But who's the ones that's really pushing and being moved in a certain way that benefits the other elect? The men. Because the children is being children. What is they doing for the other elect? But it just goes back to the order. Even if you're not bringing out the word and you're all in order in your position, Yahweh Shai is there, man. When it comes to a problem and y'all sitting down and y'all trying to fix the problem instead of bickering, arguing, having grudges within your mind, but you come in order and you letting it out. Hey, look, I feel like this and I feel like that, and the man setting in order. Well, look, you feeling like that, it shouldn't even matter. And this woman, she's doing this, or the kids is doing this. Hey, you know what? Next time you should do that. Guess what? Everybody should be listening to the head, because if he's fearing the Lord to the ability that he's supposed to, everybody is going to shut down and listen to what the man is saying, right? Because first, the man should have a full relationship with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. What's the title of the lesson, right? You should basically desire to have the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai so that you could continue to move and operate in this wicked ass world. It's dangerous. Even at work, like I told the brother Yarmayan, this man is putting everybody before himself. He's getting hit with this and he's getting hit with that. What spirit is with this man, in this man? What spirit he dealing with for him to overcome those things and not crash out, cuss somebody the hell out? He still got a smile on his face, but hiding a deep man, what the heck? Sam and other brothers, right? Another brother going through this, right? What's having brothers hold a posture? Right? I'm not the most wealthiest man. I'm not getting hella money. I'm getting money to be able to give away. As soon as I get it, give it away. They need dollars for this. Guess what? As soon as the bill got to get paid, the money gone out their pocket. You know, I'm not making the best dollars to enjoy everything that I desire and what I want. But I know what I'm getting the most out of. I'm getting the most out of Yahweh Shem Shai. Again, I left work, had my mind this way. I heard this lesson. Then I was just watching the lesson before I went live. I was creating other videos I got playing after this live, some other screen recorded joints. And then watching this one brother's lesson, and one joint he said, well, you gotta want the spirit of Yahweh Shai. And I'm like, dang, I would really wanted to do a lesson on second. I want to do a continuation on 2 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter. But that goes back into the spirit of Yahweh Shai. Because for me to think of about a lesson, what is that? That's work. you know? Thinking about a lesson. Doing a screen recording that might be beneficial for women that are single, women that are wives, right? Women that might see other women that's struggling, or to have your mind on what's to come, right? The Lord is allowing brothers to record or screen record lessons for that, so that all sex can get motivated on the coming of the Lord, right? That all can grow in faith, you know? What is that? That's that spiritual meat, right? That everlasting meat, right? This is the work that has to constantly be pushed out. Where is that? Right? Because we got to have the spirit of YAHAWASHI. Where is it at? Um, and is it 6? Is it 6? No, right here. It's St. John, yep, St. John 6, verse 27. It says, labor not for the meat which perisheth, but for that meat which endureth unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him have the most the most high, the Father sealed, right? So we should be enduring, we should be laboring for the meat which endureth to everlasting light. Right now, of course, when we break down certain meat like prophecies, dark sayings, parables, but then you got to look at the whole volume of this book. We laboring for this whole thing. Now, for you men, you have a different labor than women and children, right? There's one lesson I got about women. Like, even if you get a man, guess what? Most of the time, you might not even be able to spend time with him like you would when you were in the world, having a whole day planning this and planning that. Most women is probably getting the best time when it's nighttime, when it's bedtime, where when you see him actually sitting down watching a movie. Because in most cases, this man is thinking about others, thinking about the sheep. He's thinking about is he fearing the Lord? Is he believing the Lord? Then he got to make sure the household is believing the Lord. Then he got to still do lessons. Guess what? And then you got to even read. Even before doing the live, I had to, even though I'm over here dozing off, and then I'm like, nah, I keep waking up every 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and I gotta read a chapter. I gotta sink something in, right? It's the wisdom, knowledge, understanding with Yahawah Shema Shai. This meat is a continual thing. You know how certain meat, you leave it out the refrigerator, it get old, or you leave it in the refrigerator for days, and you didn't cook it. Eventually, it's gonna start stinking, and you gotta throw it out. This spiritual meat do not get mildew. It do not stink. You can, you leave it. You wanna entertain it, because some people cannot entertain this thing enough, and it starts to fade from them. Right? Hey, that actually was a hit even to me, man. Right? Because like what I just came to mind, that like, say if the more I read or I'm doing lessons, it'd be old precepts, classic precepts that I won't remember because I got new ones. So I guess what? I still gotta go back into the notes. I still gotta go back into old understandings to sharpen up that mind. And guess what? The flesh don't like that. That's the spirit of Yahawashi. Doing things that the flesh do not like. Salaki. Um, it's another point I want. Uh, Salaki, y'all. I just want to get another point, right? Salaki, I want to get another point if I can. What's that point? Um, let's get this one. And I'm looking at it right in my face. Okay, I just get it. This there's some okay. This is St. John 6, verse 63. It says, "It is the spirit that quickeneth, which makes alive. The flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life." This is, yo, and this is another thing. This helps with when somebody's down, or arguments, or loneliness. Now, say if it don't work for you, you're not in the spirit. And like me and my brothers, we always talk about how brothers, back in when we had more brothers, where they would come to camp, they would bring things they dealing with in the world or in their house to camp, and now they don't want to teach, or they mumbling. And guess what? I had to admit, I would feed off of that, and then I'm talking low because I'm seeing other brothers down, and that kind of turned me off, and then now I'm speaking low. Right? The spirit of the Lord is a fire, right? Up, I gotta get that. I'm trying to go multitask because I'm trying to trick the tiredness. Um, First I want to get this one. Do I want this one first or I want the Job? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Come on, come on. Wow. Okay, this is Job 32, verse 18 to 20. It says, "For I am full of matter, the spirit within me constraineth me. Behold, my belly is as wine which have no vent. It is ready to burst like new bottles." You know, when you pop that seal off of a bottle, I will speak that I may be refreshed. I will open my lips and answer, right? And that's what that fire be. When you go to Jeremiah 20 and 9, then I said, I will not make mention of him nor speak any more in his name, right? Jeremiah, I'm not going to speak the name of Yahweh no more. But his word was in my heart as a burning fire shut up in my bones. And I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. That's that fire you want to have. This is the spirit of YAHAWASHI. Because again, we read in St. John, the 12th chapter, that he came down here to speak the words of his father, where his father told him to speak, right? But guess what? It was the obedience. YAHAWASHI truly obeyed the father. But now we got the Rakakwadash. The Rakakwadash is quick. It makes alive, right? The spirit of the Lord, any confrontation, an argument, sad, anything, a true person of the Lord is going to think of scriptures and line them up correctly to give you understanding, right? Just like with my wife the one time, just a few days ago, my daughter had a spider on her dress. My mind is thinking about something else, and of course she was breaking it down another way, which it wasn't wrong. I can get why she said that, but that was not the point. Then I explained and I said, no, when you read it, the verse says, "Study the ant, thou sluggard." Sluggard mean lazy. In the NLT, it says lazy bones. Then it just hit like bing. As soon as she was like, oh, snap, you see, guess what that was in the spirit? It made a quickening. I understood the assignment. But when you telling somebody else for understanding, it makes them a quickening spirit, right? Let's actually get that quickening. And then we're going to come back to this fire. We're going to come back to that fire. Just hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold on 1 second. That Lord willing, can somebody put a 1 in the chat if you understanding everything? If you understand it. If you not, just put a 2. If you feel like it's shabba dabba ding dong, put a 2. Let's make it quick. Make it quick. Make it quick. G 2227.
Strong's G 2227. Zoapoieo. Zoapoieo.
And it means to produce alive, bear living young, to cause to live, make alive, give life. So when it says it is the spirit that quickeneth, it makes somebody alive. It gives them life by spiritual power to arouse, to invigorate, to restore to life, to give increase of life, right? Of the spirit, quickeneth as respect the spirit, endue with new and greater powers of life, a metaphor of seeds quickeneth into life, springing up, growing, right? So truly, when especially when we're edifying people, we're bringing them back to life. You know, CPR, and you breathing them. What is that? That's the Lord putting a breath of life in you. So that's what these lessons is. Yes. Oh, that was a good lesson, bro. Oh, that was a good lesson, love. Hey, it was, but did you get the breath? Did you get the CO2? Lord willing, I said it right. How did you get the oxygen? You know, did you get the oxygen? Because the spirit of the Lord is quickeneth. It makes alive. Going back. to Jeremiah, it's a fire, right? Hold on. Let's go to this one. Talking about you got to be like Yahawashi. Yahawashi through the Spirit was on fire, especially when we look at Luke 2 and 49. Oh, no, Luke 2, 46, 47. He was at the temple asking and answer questions. He was in a house of learning. The house of learning through the Spirit is those that's teaching, because the building don't do nothing. So you look at the doctors of the law. Now the house of learning started with Apostle Tahar on down, and those that are teaching sound doctrine, which affiliates and those whoever else the Lord is dealing with that's bringing forth sound doctrine and pushing 100% truth. Psalms 104 verse 4. Who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers of flaming fire. This truth is not about no lukewarm, no cold person, no cold nigga. This is about being on fire. You could be on fire for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. You might stop and then be on fire again. Guess what? The spirit of Yahweh Shai. Like, even though Apostle Tahar do this fluently, yesterday within 24 hours, this man did 7 videos. But that's not it. He's doing this fluently. What example is that? A quickening spirit. Other people that's watching, especially us as teachers and students, we're coming alive. Like, dang, that was edifying. Oh, this lesson edifying. And which each lesson, you like, dang, he said a good point. I'm going to do a lesson. I'm going to do a lesson on this. Pastor Gabar, he did a lesson on the 7 pillars. I did a 5-finger discount. Let me see if I got it. It's not on this tablet. It's on that phone right there that we using to go live. I took that as a 5-finger discount. I got them, right? What else? I could show you something else that I use, right? And the spirit is always feeding. It's making you alive. It's giving you it's energizing you in the spirit to want more, crave more, right? To be like Yahweh Shai is to do make yourself worthy in the eyes of the Lord. Right? Yahweh Shai, come on, let me actually just go to it, right? Yahweh Shai did all of this for the Father, and at the time, way before, he gave up the ghost, way before he gave up the ghost. This is what Yahweh Shai said. I've been bringing this out fluently. I'm going to start at verse 3. This is St. John 17, verse 3. It says, "And this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true power, in Yahawashi Hamashiach, whom thou hast sent." Right? The only true power is Yahweh, right? And Yahawashi Hamashiach, because Yahawashi is the power and the wisdom of the Heavenly Father. I have glorified thee on the earth. I have finished the work which thou gavest me to do. He's telling me, like, Father, hey, I finished the work that you gave me to do. And now, O Father, glorify thou me with thy own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was. So what do you think you doing with these lessons, brother? What sis, every day when you treating your man like he's your Hawashai. And guess what? A woman hasn't fully became that real believer. Because it is certain things in these scriptures or a role of a woman that a woman still get defensive about, right? But outside of that, every day, what do you think you're doing? You're trying to, what Yahweh Shai, hey, I glorified you on the earth, right? You trying to be one of those women that's known for being the daughter of Zion. Brother, you're through the spirit is not like you like, hey, look at me. Your actions through the spirit is trying to show Yahweh that you're trying to manifest his name. You trying to be like Yahweh Shai. Verse 6. I have manifested thy name unto the men. Revealed. Yahweh Shai is doing just like Moses. The men of the Lord is being like Yahweh Shai. Oh, I'm about to teach. I'm about to teach his name. Oh, I'm about to break this down. I'm about to bring out this parable. This is what Yahawashi said. Hey, this is what the Lord did. Hey, this is what, Yahawashi taught Paul. Oh, da-da-da-da. Man, we're always trying to make ourselves worthy to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. right? This is about what does it say? The more you put in, the more you get, right? You want to put as much work as you can so the Lord can sprinkle more of that spirit on you, more of that spirit on you. Hey, guess what? I'm trying to get it to so much that I'm able to see somebody sick and I say in the name of YAHAWASHI, you heal. I don't think just sitting on my butt. I feel like everything, my existence or all my movements is gonna, Lord willing, help me benefit to having a increased abundance of the spirit of the Lord. Yahweh Shai is the power and the wisdom of the Heavenly Father. That all comes through Yahweh, right? This if faith is a power, praying is a power, teaching is a power, right? Faith and believing is the same thing. That's a power. Now I want to be able to what Yahweh Shai say, have faith to that you can tell this mountain to move. I want to continue to show my worth to the Lord that I want it. That I want his spirit. I want to be able to, if somebody walk past me and they don't believe, and if the Lord knows their heart that eventually they're going to believe, that moment the Lord made them walk past me and just my little shadow had them thinking, wait, hold on, wait, who is this brother? And then they asked me a question like the elder did at work when he tried to cut me with Geno Jennings. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, nah, Geno Jennings is not. And then I started bringing out scriptures, and I said, yo, I was saying what I was saying at work, but it was a jake. I said, man, we can't, you don't want to mix work and teaching and all of that. Then he got stuck, went home and had a dream, and had a dream about me. And next thing you know, he wanted to learn the truth and left the Christianity understanding. Now he watching the elder apostles and brothers of the same sound. You know, I want to. I'm trying to please him. That put us all here. What mindset is that? That's the spirit of Yahweh Shai, right? You want to do the most so that you can get that return, right? It's not that I'm looking for a reward. I want to do the most for the Lord, basically. Let me say it for the sheep that's listening. You want to do the most for Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Everything he done for us, everything he done for us, you want to do the most for him, right? What he did for us, right? We want to do the most, right? Let me see if I want this one. This is Psalm 63, uh, verse 1. It says, O power, thou art my power. Early will I seek thee. My soul thirsteth for thee. My flesh longeth for thee in a dry and thirsty land where no water is. Right? A lot of us is thirsty. A lot of us is hungry for the Lord. Right? Yes, I want to eat. Yes, I want to go have something to drink. Yes, I want to kick my feet up. But through the spirit, I'm hungry for Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. I cannot do that by being lazy. I cannot do that by being in your face, more than trying to be in the face of the Lord. Because how I'm going to put you in order? How I'm gonna put you in order? How I'm gonna lead you? How I'm gonna be the example, even to show the elect that this is about Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, right? He has to come first because it goes back to the attribute of what we've seen in Ephesians. And who is the nation of Israel? That is a wife of Yahweh Shai. The nation is the example of a woman. So we have to be submissive to our power, starting with the men, then the women under their men, and then their children. But as a whole, we have to be that submissive woman to Yahweh Shai. The husband comes first, right? So we should be seeking what do the needs of the husband. Look at this spiritually. Like when you look at a man and a woman, that we were created to procreate and make sweet love with each other. But through the spirit, how is the wife of Yahweh Shai being intimate with Yahweh Shai? Not even physically, spiritually, man. Spiritually, that woman is being intimate with Hamashiach Yahushai. That's so cold, right? And we in this flesh and we worried about physical pleasure, but where's the spiritual intimacy? Even the children, physical, materialistic. That when to have a kid gave a real their Shabbat, a real Day of Atonement, a real Passover, and really dedicated to the Lord. This system got us so effed up that all of us is not how we used to be in our past life, you know? So let me read that again. It says, "O power, thou art my power. Early will I seek thee," right? "My soul thirsted for thee, my flesh longeth for thee in a dry and thirsty land where no water is, to see thy power and thy glory, so as I have seen thee in the sanctuary, because thy loving kindness is better than life. My lips shall praise thee." Right? The Lord's loving kindness is better than life, better than breathing this air. How is his kindness? The Lord, I believe, I just did a video on reincarnation. It was supposed to be a premiere after this, but hey, it is what it is. Um, how the Lord allowed us to come back each time. He allowed us to come back, whatever we did in our past life. But if you truly in this faith, you gotta jump for joy that, hey, you probably was in this faith back then. But if you finished the course back then in faith, which if you did, hey, all praise to YAHAWASHI. But now you back in this faith, you gotta work hard to finish this course, right? This is second address. Salaki, I just brought this out in the other video, and because it just hit my head. Second Esdras 14:35, it says, "For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared." Right? So again, for after death, the judgment come, we go up to the spirit world, and then we come back to live out our judgment. So even if I'm of this faith, in my past life, I did something because I'm under the sun. Ecclesiastes 3:16. Under the place, I said under the place. Salaki, I'm too excited. Under the sun is a place of judgment. Wickedness and righteousness was there. Right? The teaching, this ministry, this is righteousness. But guess what? We all came short of the glory. Right? The Lord cut off the righteous and the wicked. That's Ezekiel 21:4, I believe. Right? And being in this flesh, we all came short of the glory. We all did. But by the grace and the power of Yahweh Shem Shai, he allowing us to come back in this thing. And if you in this thing right now, if you finish your course now, in your past life, you finished the course. Paul said he finished his course. He finished his course at that time, but he was coming back. This is Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 4. "Seeing then that I will cut off from thee the righteous and the wicked, therefore shall my sword go forth out of the sheath against all flesh from the south and the north." Right? The Lord cut off the righteous and the wicked. Right? Just because in your past life you were serving and believing the Lord, it's not over until all is fulfilled. Right? When we go to what is it? Revelations. What was it? Revelations 11. Man, sorry y'all. It's crazy. I just did a lesson on this, and now I'm bringing out verses again. It's a like y'all. What is it? Revelations. Which one is it? Revelations 10 and 11. "And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings." This is John the Revelator. The angel was telling him that you must prophesy again before many people. How is he doing that? But later on, John the Revelator died. So what? Going back to 2nd Esdras 14, right? He went up to the heavens, got judged, and came back down again to live out that judgment. But within that judgment, if he was really of his faith and the Lord searched his heart and knew he was a faithful servant, he's going to come back in his ministry, because this verse just said, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings, right? So guess what? When we go back to that Psalms 63, verse 3, it says, because thy loving kindness is better than life. It's the Lord kindness that instead of us just being in the spirit world and like what people say reincarnation not real, and not have a chance to fight, like in my dream that I had when YAHAWASHI had me at the I was on the light side and I could see the dark side. Every time we got close to the door, I felt unavoid from YAHAWASHI. Like I could feel on that side, you're not even close. Like you're so away from YAHAWASHI. It's so dark on the other side. The more close you got, the more you can feel it trying to pull you away from YAHAWASHI. I didn't want that. But for us to have a chance to come back to work on our salvation, what does it say? Work out our own salvation with fear and trembling. When we in the spirit world with the Father, we're not working out our salvation. Because under the sun is the place of judgment. This is where you live out your judgment. Is either you're in righteousness or wickedness. Either you're part of the elect or you the 2/3. So all praises to Yahawah Shem Shai. You, brother, you sisters, and them dang baby kids, them children, they get another chance, whoever they is. When you look at your newborn baby, they was just in the spirit world. They just had a life. When you really look at a third or fourth generation, they was just here. And especially when kids is being coming back now, the Lord, yo, whatever you did, because there's a lot of females, there's a lot of brothers birthing a lot of daughters. Why? Because it's gonna be more women than men of the elect, right? Because of course, if you got 5 women, 1 man, he can plant multiple seeds in just 5 of them women. You know, it might start slow, 5 babies. Wait till one heal. Then hey, you got her, or you might get another woman. Bing bop boom bop pow. Mercy of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, loving kindness. Let alone if we look at each captivity, everything the Lord did, He still was giving. Yo, in the Roman affliction that we had before Yahweh Shai came, or the start of the Roman captivity, then Yahweh Shai raising up, you gotta go do a deep dive. Rome wasn't treating everybody that they were conquering the right way. The Greeks, right? Yes, they were conquering multiple nations. When we look at the children of Israel, we wasn't even supposed to be slaves. You know, that stuff did something to our psyche. That did stuff to our minds. When we were in captivity here, it's so much that you don't even know, that Jake say, "Oh, let captivity, let that slavery go away." That was just like yesterday. A day to the Lord, a day to the Lord is 1,000. So, 2 days, what is that to the Lord, man? So literally, that's all recent, you know. But the Lord right now giving us loving kindness. The truth came back out. We going through these scriptures, and before nobody had this. I would probably be on live saying shabba dabba ding dong, or you would see me smoking a blunt and then having another blunt roll. You know, the Lord is showing us kindness. You coming in His truth, in the name of the Lord, loving kindness, right? Better yet, let me do this. Let's put some more respect on the Lord, man. Let me go. Let me actually go to. Let's look up that word, loving kindness. I know y'all getting tired of me, man. Right, in the NLT it says unfailing love. Ooh, I like that. Hebrews 26:17.
Strong's H 2617. Chesed. Chesed.
Hesed. 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 Right? So, loving kindness, goodness, merciful, Strong's definition. No, you got biblical usage, faithfulness, goodness, Strong's definition. Okay, kindness, reproof, piety, favorless, favor, favorness, loving kindness, right? The Lord has loving kindness towards us, man. Favor, right? In the NLT, Psalm 63, verse 3, your unfailing love is better than life itself. How I praise you, right? Come on, it's unfailing love. Verse 4 in the KJV, it says, thus will I bless thee while I live. I will lift up my hands in thy name. Right now, we're living in two ways. You're living because you breathing, and you're living because of this truth. A lot of people is dead. They really dead. You coming in this truth, you living like the dead is living by walking, but they're spiritually dead. You're living and you're a quickening spirit. You're alive, right? So this is why even more the Lord deserves all the praise. Then when you on fire, you know that Yahawah is dealing with you, man. First, you men, because you have a fire for teaching. You have a fire for feeding the sheep. That fire is not explained for every woman, right? Or every child. But we see examples of the men of the Lord, and a lot of y'all that's believing. If you believing and you getting that lesson, you like, ooh, guess what? That's a fire within you too. Especially when you're trying to put your attention on it. When you're trying to make sure that you're not distracted. And if you is, you find time to rewatch it again. What is drawing you to watch that? And we in this human flesh, when you got your favorite TV show, when you bored or you chilling, or even if you fasting, you know, what spirit is that? Right? Especially if you're taking these words serious too. It says, my soul shall be satisfied as with marrow and fatness, and my mouth shall praise thee with joyful lips. When I remember thee upon my bed and meditate on thee in the night watches, because thou hast been my help. Therefore, in the shadow of thy wings will I rejoice. Right? And of course, you can use the chariots in that examples too, right? The shadow of the wings of the Lord. But the Lord being your help. For you to come in this truth, it was the Lord, right? We go back to St. John 6:44, a classic I always use, right? Yahweh draws you to the Son, Yahawah and Yahawah raise you up in the last days. It's really Yahweh moving us to Yahawah. That's another example to let you know the Lord dealing with you. But now, just because you say in the name of Yahawah, how is your mannerism? How is your movements? You know, like when you dancing, you doing a cha-cha, you know what I'm saying? You with the rhythm. You know what I'm saying? How is your rhythm spiritually with the Lord? You know? Some people are not consistent. Some people might put on a lesson and they not even paying attention to it. Hey, hurry, oh, that was a good lesson, right? Hey, it's sometimes I'm watching a lesson I ain't paying attention. But then it's times where I'm watching a lesson and I'm reading at the same time. I'm watching a lesson and I'm hearing a brother teach, and sometimes I go off mute and then I'm bringing out a lesson. I'm damn near multitasking. Mul- I'm multitasking. Salaki, my tonguey tongue, right? Um, it says, "My soul followeth hard after thee. Thy right hand upholdeth me." Who is the right hand of Yahweh? Yahweh Shai, right? And your soul is following hard after Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, right? Where some brothers is bringing forth 10, 15 videos a day, not for their own, yay, for the elect's sake. All of this is not about individual me, because if it was about me, individual me, I wouldn't have to do a video. I can go sit there and read, master it, talk to myself, meditate on it, write notes even for myself, so I can master it for myself. But it becomes a bigger picture when you're moved to be like, you know what? Like, it's times where I used to say, I ain't gonna do a lesson today. I'm gonna just read. And then the reading is so good. The video was so good, and then I end up doing a live. I end up doing a lesson. Then I end up doing another lesson. Then I end up doing a screen record. Then I start doing a live. We can't. You cannot stop the Lord's goal, because through the Spirit, the Lord is using us. The Lord is really using us for His benefit, for His purpose, right? The Lord didn't do none of this because we deserve it. This was all His plan from the beginning, right? It says, but those that seek my soul to destroy it shall go into the lower part of the earth, right? Esau's going to be finished with. The 2/3 that's bumping against this truth. The Lord is going to deal with you, man. But us over here, we're going to serve Yahweh by Shem El Shai, and we're going to desire to be of the spirit of Yahweh Shai, right? Which is really the mindset, right? You trying to move like him. And of course, I can never be Yahushai. But to the best of my ability, as much as the Lord is dealing with me with the Rakak Wadash, that's how much I'm going to be moving like Yahushai. You know, the Lord might have me on just getting deep in the scriptures, meditating, thinking. I got my mind where my mind need to be of the Lord. The Lord probably had me focused for 5 hours. And then even after 5 hours, I'm not doing anything folly, you know. Then I'm watching another video, or I'm seeing a movie, and I'm seeing something spiritual, right? Then I go to work having conversations of I was dreaming something, or I was watching something. The brother Yamayan, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. I was just watching this yesterday, and this man was saying this, and now you saying that. Guess what? Now you gonna know that's the spirit. That's the spirit, and it goes to let you know it's all spirits is of one power. What's that? 1 Corinthians 12. 1 Corinthians 12. I'm just getting precepts off of things that's coming off my lips, man. I'm gonna get this one. This is 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, and verse 7, verse verse 5. Salaki verse 4. It says, now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord. And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same power, which worketh all in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit with hell. For to one it is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophesy, to another discerning of spirits, to another diverse kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. But all these worketh that one in the self same Spirit, dividing to every man severally as he will. For as the body is one, have many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body. So also is a Mashiach, right? And this body has to have one motion. It doesn't matter if you're a toe or you're a foot. You have one objective. And I'm just using that because every camp, just because he say Hebrew, we're not all a body. That's just that camp is a different body. That camp is a different body. But to truly be a body for Mashiach, we're all bringing out sound doctrine, 100% proof, 100% truth that lines with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That's a body. Because Paul said, let there be no division among you. That was a body, right? So verse 13, it says, for by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body. What baptize or baptism is he talking about? Being baptized in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It says, whether we be Jews or Gentiles, right? The southern kingdom or the dispersed of Israel, whether we be bond or free, or have been all made to drink unto one spirit, for the body is not one member, but many. If the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, it is therefore not of the body. And if the ear shall say, because I am not the eye, I am not of the body, it is therefore not of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling? But now have the Most High set the members, every one of them, in the body, as it hath pleased him. So the Lord set it up in order. Everybody is in their function, where they're strong at, right? Where they can be the most beneficial, or the most, where they can give to the Lord's ministry the most benefit. Because at the end, this is all benefiting Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai for his elect's sake, right? This is all about Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai's benefit for the elect's sake. So he organized this in a beautiful way. Every brother might not be a finger. Some of us is the elbow. Some of us is the lip. Some of us is the chest. Some brothers might be the legs or the feet. But this is one body. One body, one song, one band, one choir, one team, right? Um, but again, if this is one body, it just goes into, let's just go back to the first verse we started with, then we'll close. 1 John chapter 2, verse 6. He that saith he abideth in him ought himself also to walk even as he walked. So this body should be walking like Yahawashi if this body abides in Yahawashi. And Yahawashi was only bringing us the words of his Father, no new doctrine, no twist. He was giving us straight edification to build us up and to bring us closer back to the Father by reconcile us through his blood, because Yahawashi is the mediator, right? So I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, the water Yahweh Shem Shai, for allowing me and the other sheep to get edified, Lord, when they do. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. A mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same spirit. Shalom to the Akwat Yum that are believers and followers of this faith and this ministry. Lord willing, as a whole, that y'all continue in sound doctrine in the same spirit. And Lord willing, the Most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. With that, shalom, shalom, abba, abba.